Well, Fafi MP Salah Farah says he will soldier on with his plan to have presidential term limit removed, despite his party UDA distancing itself from the plan. According to UDA, the scheme to extend the president's term is a product of the legislator's fertile imagination, saying it is busy implementing its election pledges. The opposition is, however, accusing President William Ruto of being behind the ploy, claiming the proposal is meant to test the waters. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi reports on this proposal that has stirred a storm in the political landscape.
The United Democratic Alliance Party has found itself on the receiving end of an unfolding political scheme aimed at extending the president's term even before his government fully takes shape. The main character in this fast escalating political scheme is a first-time MP, Salah Farah, representing Fafi constituency, who insists he will not relent until his push to have the presidential term limit is thrown out. Farah, who claims to have the backing of a significant number of his UDA colleagues, however, seems to have been deserted after the issue raised a political storm. In his bid to have the proposal see the light of day, Farah says a president should not be limited to a 10-year term, but their ability to work on development.
It is something I believe in. It's something we discussed with quite some number of legislators. I don't want to mention names. It has nothing to do with UDA, it has nothing to do with ODM or any other person. It has something to do with Kenyans.
The Constitution prescribes that such a matter can only be through a referendum.
Assume that the president now takes action in implementing his agendas. He has to write up or clean up some of the messes. That might take him 5 years, a term. So we'll only have maybe 5 years again to implement the agenda, so he's talking of. So by 5 years again, you're going to remove him. So I was thinking maybe if we give any president for you to implement your agendas, clean up the mess of the other previous government or whatever it is, you're given a 5-year term to do that. And then you implement 2 terms again, you can do something.
The honorable member for Fafi is merely an attention seeker. He does not speak for the party.
This is an issue or a matter posted by a member of parliament who in their own wisdom, we don't know where they were, where they slept. He decided maybe to post this, and that cannot be called the UDA party or the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
The UDA in a tweet dismissed the remarks by Salah Farah, noting the plans to extend term limits for the president are product of a fertile imagination by the legislator. The UDA in a tweet dismissed the remarks by Salah Farah, noting the plans to extend term limits for the president are a product of a fertile imagination by the legislator. UDA distances itself from the utterances by the MP.
That is not the position of the party. And I speak that with authority, that there is no such thinking that we need to review the constitution to extend the term limit. In any case, by the way, I mean, such is not the discussion to put right now.
But as UDA distances itself from the political explosive scheme, the opposition is having a field day, associating the scheme with the president, accusing him of sending Farah to test the political temperature of the country.
You know, during the campaigns, we kept on reminding Kenyans that if they make a mistake of allowing the UDA brigade to take over the reins of power in this country, they will be allowing the country to take the Uganda direction. Because we knew all along that President Ruto was envious of the record that has been set by his close friend Yoweri Museveni.
This is how it started in Uganda. One MP comes up and says, then some other people talk about it, and the next thing you hear that the constitution has been changed. No wonder he's moving in regions buying people, buying MPs.
We know ourselves as politicians. You send a small squirrel to test for you the waters, whether there is maize in the granary. We know each other. That's what the young man was doing.
Issues of wanting to say term limit, and you have not worked. What do you want to limit this term to if it's not for work? So those people who are around the president, who want to keep this country hot, we are tired.
Any attempt to butcher the constitution should be treated as pure balderdash. for every action that the government will bring to us, they shall receive an opposite and equal reactional force.
The United Democratic Alliance may have dismissed Fafi MP's assertions as his fertile imagination, but there are those who believe that it was just a question of timing. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV at Parliament Buildings. And that Fafi MP Salah Farah will be joining us later on, with all due respect.